Okay, so the last video I showed you how I wanted to just sew in a little bit. And if you're watching both these back to back, my tip for you to be sew a little bit further than I did, because I think this is a really big opening. As long as you can get the stuffing in there and maybe use a pencil or something long to help get it in the corners, you'll be fine. Because this is kind of a long thing to hand stitch that you see on the outside. It is what it is. If you've already done it, that's fine. I think in class I'm going to have them bring it in just a little bit closer to stuff. But you have your stuffed pillow. I have my needle threaded and a knot at the end. I took a couple pins and I'm going to pin this open edge. I'm on a side that has like that frayed part and you can't sew that part. So I just kind of folded that down a little bit. Let me see if I can zoom in for you. So I have this frayed edge and you can't, it's hard to sew. So I just kind of folded it down and I folded a little bit. This is fiddly, of the other side. And if you don't have that frayed edge, you don't have to fold it down at all. You could probably just do it. So I went ahead and took the pins I had and I pinned it close, or closed. And sometimes it pops out a little bit just to help me keep my fabric together so I'm not trying to pinch my fabric closed and sew at the same time. It can kind of get to be a lot. This is your last step. We're sewing our pillow closed. If you want to do a bonus button, I will add a video for that later, but that's completely optional. So I'm just kind of folding it, trying to get it lined up as best I can. And if you have a little bit of that, there we go, part poking out, you can just kind of tuck that in as you're sewing too. All right. The pins are just really there to help me. So I'm going to start this a little different. I'm going to just put my needle in through one side of the fabric because I want the knot. So I open it up and I have two pieces of fabric and I'm just putting my needle to start it through the inside because I want my knot on the inside. I don't want it on the outside because this is now the outside of our pillow. So then I'm just going to keep my fingers kind of pinched there and I'm just going to sew like I did. I'm going to go to the back, to the front, or whatever's easier. You want to kind of pull snug, but not so snug you're doing it. So I just kind of, I'm going to actually turn it over. I think it's kind of easier to hold it this way for me. So I'm always poking on this side. So my needle, my thread's on this side and I'm poking, I'm going to poke these a little bit closer. I'm going to sew it this way, my finger got in the way. And I'm going to poke these a little bit closer together, it's you. So now when I'm on this side, I'm always just poking, I don't have to worry about, and I can just pull it down. And I come up over, poke, pull it down. As long as I'm going through both pieces of fabric, I should be okay. If your loops kind of go over, you can use your needle or your fingers and kind of put them around. So I'm always making sure I'm up and over, pulling it down. Since people can see this one, and I did use a contrasting color so you could see the difference, it's up to you what you use. So you're just going to keep sewing, okay? I'll do a couple more. I could probably put them a little further apart. That is definitely artist's choice or sewer's choice at this point. So every now and then, I know I keep going on screen, my needle, my thread wants to go somewhere else. I just put it back where I want to. So coming up over, pull it down. All right, I'm not going to make you watch me sew this whole thing. So let's pretend. Let's pretend I've sewn all my stitches. They're closed. So now I have this line of thread. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick 2 or 3 loops and slide your needle through. Pull your needle so it kind of catches that in there. And you could snip it there and call it done and it's pretty secure. Or if you want that extra security, you could poke your needle through your pillow. So I could poke like back into the stitch and poke my needle through and bring it out the other end and just cut it so then your end's tucked on the inside. There's different ways to do it. So you could just snip it there and call it a day if you want to. I'll show you what I mean by the other one. So I have it ended. I could snip it if I want to, or I could just take it, poke it back into my fabric, and then I can kind of poke my needle out. I'm kind of squishing my pillow. And I'm just going to pull my needle. I'm going to loosen it up a little bit. So now I have this thread coming out this way. I trim the thread close, and when it goes, the thread is kind of hanging in the inside of the pillow, and I know it's not going to go anywhere, and it's not going to unsew itself. So as you go past your pins, of course, you take your pins out. You want to sew it, and it's fiddly. I know the trickiest part is closing it. So if you want to sew a little bit more beforehand, but those pins do help keep it together. So you're trying to pinch it together and sew. And sew nice and steady. You don't have to go too far down this time. Just try your best. When that's done, you can be completely done with your pillow. We're going to pretend like mine is sewn shut. And if this is where you want to stop because you've had enough of sewing and you like your pillow nice and soft, you go ahead, trim all your edges, put your trim away, take a picture of your favorite side if it's different colors, and you're all done. If you would like, I have buttons in class, and we are actually going to be, some people who finished early, and I just dropped my needle, are going to sew buttons on. So if you would like to sew a button on, I have these big giant buttons at school, and I'm going to teach you how to sew 2 buttons on at once. And you basically are kind of trying to line up, and you're sewing through your pillow to secure both buttons. If you're interested in doing that, I can leave you 2 buttons, and I can make a video for that. But if you're like, I'm happy with my pillow the way it is, Mrs. Cole, that's absolutely fine, and that's my expectation. So enjoy finishing up your pillow, and let me know if you'd like more instructions on the buttons or how to do that, or if you just want it to be done. I think these are a really cool project. Hopefully you enjoyed learning something a little different with the fiber arts this year, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care, Josh.